Hey guys, Mr. Jet here. Welcome to lesson number 10. We're going to start something new today called equations of circles. So we're going to talk about how we write equations, just like we wrote equations for lines, y equals mx plus b. We're now going to write equations for circles. So first thing I want you to do is I want you to pause this video. I want you to go to this website here, desmos.com, on your phone or computer. Either one should work. And I want you to go through these 3 steps here. I want you to graph these 2 equations, answer these 2 questions, and then finish by graphing this equation and answer this question here. When you go to desmos.com, you'll come to the screen here. You want to hit start graphing, and then you'll type in your equations over here, and that'll pop up your graph. So go ahead and do that, pause the video, answer those questions, and then come back to the video when you're done. All right, when you type in those first 2 equations, x squared plus y squared equals 25 and x squared plus y squared equals 9, we get these 2 graphs here. The 2 questions that are being asked are, what does the number to the right side of the equal sign tell us? And then where is the center of our circle? So if we notice here, the blue circle here has a radius of 3. The red circle has a radius of 5. And so when we think about these 2 questions, this number over here is going to determine our radius. When we square root that number, that gives us our radius. The second question here, we said where is the center? The center is at the origin, 0, 0. The second question of this, when we graph this graph here, this green one, we notice here the center is no longer at 0, 0. And so these numbers inside, we should notice here, first of all, the radius on this is going to be 4 because the square root is 16, and then that 1, 2 tells us where the center is. And so this is what we're going to talk about today because it gives us a center of 1, negative 2. Okay, so let's take a look. So an equation of a circle, like I said a while ago, when we're talking about a line, use y equals mx plus b. When we're talking about a circle, this is the equation that gives us a circle on a graph. This x squared plus y squared equals r squared, where r is the radius. So like we talked about just a second ago, this number, this radius is always going to be squared here. So it's going to be bigger than what the actual radius is. So if we come down to this example, we notice here the center of our circle is at 0, 0. Remember, the radius is the distance from the center to the outside of the circle, no matter what direction that we look. Okay, no matter what direction we go, that's our radius. Well, if I count here, 1, 2, 3, my radius equals 3. And so when I plug that into our equation, x squared plus y squared equals radius squared, we get x squared plus y squared equals 3 squared. So we get x squared plus y squared equals 9. And so that's the equation of this circle on the graph. Remember, that again is for when the center of the circle is at 0, 0. Okay. All right, I want you guys to go ahead and do these 2 examples here. Okay, so you're going to write the equation of each. You're going to write the equation if you have 0, 0 as your center and radius is 7, and then down here, 0, 0 with a point at 0, 6. Okay, so go ahead and try those 2 examples. Pause your video. When you're done, unpause your video, and I'll have the answers there. Okay, here's the 2 answers to the problems. First one, pretty straightforward. Second one, a little different just because it doesn't give us the radius, but it gives us this point on the circle. And so when I plot that point on the circle and I plot my center, I can see that that point is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units away. And so that's how we get our x squared plus y squared equals 6 squared, which is 36. The next thing that we're going to look at is if the center, so this here is when the center does not equal 0, 0. So if we look here, this is when the center is shifted in any direction, up, down, left, right. Okay, so it can go anywhere besides that center. So in that case, kind of like when on our warm-up a while ago, it looks a little bit different because now we have these numbers that are inside the parentheses with the x and with the y. So instead of just being x squared and y squared, where our center is at the origin at 0, 0, now we're looking at when that center is shifted, and when that shift occurs by using this h and this k. The h and the k simply tell us wherever the center is. So the h is the x of the center, the y is the k of the center. Then the r is still going to be our radius. That has not changed. So if I look down here at this example, notice it's x minus h and x minus k. So it's kind of opposite sign of what you think it would be. So if I look at this, it's asking for the center and the radius. So radius, again, remember, is always whatever the square root of this number is. So in this case, my radius is going to equal 3. And then the center is going to be the opposite sign of this. So since it's x minus 2, it's going to be a positive 2. Since it's y minus 5, it's going to be a positive 5. And so my center is going to be at 2, 5. If this was x plus 2, then this would be at negative 2. All right, I want you guys to go ahead and try these 3 examples here. So go ahead and pause your video. Once you're done with those 3 examples, unpause your video, and I'll have your answers there. All right, here's the examples, the answers to your example. Check your work, make sure you got them correct, and then go ahead and move on to lesson number 10, practice.